the next thing, the guy said, actions speak louder. He said, yep, I totally understand that. That's why I'm not going to do some big PR stint, hire a publicist. I'm not going to do anything like that. I know it's real. I know that I'm ready. Time will take care of the rest. That's a fucking excellent answer. I mean, that is an excellent answer. What else? And the only reason I'm talking like this is just because I've seen people being hard on him about these statements. I'm like, what else do you want him to say? Like, do you want him to go and like fucking time machine in 2 years and then bring back the 2 year sober version of John that's like, I did it, guys. You're all, wow, he really did do it. Right now, today, what else is he supposed to say? Assuming that, God, this shirt is ridiculous. I'm looking at it in the Finder. It's like, this is a patently absurd shirt for me to be wearing during this video. It didn't even dawn on me until right now. All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. Now, we are going to talk about Jon Jones's statements that he issued relating to his current situation. And I've heard a lot of people talking about this already, and I don't agree with most of their takes. I hear a lot of people still being pretty hard on Jon, and obviously I'm not afraid to go hard at him if I think that he's wrong. You know, I've done a bunch of videos about this situation. I think I've been relatively fair, or I've been as fair as I can be to him. You know, I only really did one video where I was really hard on him, and that was like that first statement that he made. There was something about, you know, make this the best thing that ever happened to me, and that is the thing that just set me off. I was like, man, there is no scenario where you could say that. But maybe a PR person did it. You know, who knows? But this new set of statements is different. I read it very different, and most of the people that have been talking about it thus far have been pretty hard on him, saying that what he's saying here is basically just another deflection of responsibility, and I'm going to comment on it. But you know, not to bury the lead, I don't agree with them, actually. Anyway, we'll get to it. But I'm also going to talk about how this really could be the best thing that happens to him. But I'll put some texture to it, because your ego is your ultimate enemy. And it's like, sounds like a cliche thing to say. And for the most part, when people say it, it is them being cliche. Like, they don't even actually understand what it means. Because the only way that you can understand what it means is if you have had an ego and then lost your ego. Or not lost it, but gotten rid of it. And in some cases, that will have been not because of any like deep self-discovery. It'll be due to circumstances. And like in my case, you know, I mean, I don't think it's going to be shocking for anyone to find out that when I was younger, I had an oversized ego, and I don't have one at all now. Like, there is a huge difference between being confident and having an ego. They are not the same thing. Matter of fact, they're opposites of each other. People don't really understand that. If I tried to explain that to someone and I only had about 3 sentences, I could never get anyone to understand. And I'll talk more about that. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into this thing. If you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. Tell your friends. Look at this, huh? This is kind of a cliche shirt to be wearing when I'm about to talk about, you know, domestic violence, but it is what it is. I'm not comfortable with that kind of violence. Anyway, so Jon did some statements. This first one that he put out was, I love how people are imagining the worst possible situation in their heads and making it somehow factual. I never hit my fiance, and our daughters were woken up after our confrontation. My daughters didn't see or hear us arguing. I mean, I'll put it to you like this. So the few people that I've watched talking about this, where it almost feels like to me that it's like become fashionable to just hammer on Jon. Like, this is what I was talking about. Like, anytime you get into the domestic violence stuff, it's like it just triggers this part of people's brains where it's like, you know, I'm on the other side of that. It almost feels like it's been, you know, become fashionable to just rail on Jon no matter what, without really listening to what he's saying and thinking about what it might actually mean. Because here's what I'm going to say about this. What if what he's saying is 100% true? And I'm not doubting that it is. What if he didn't hit his wife? And what if his kids didn't see it? And then he's sitting there and everyone is hammering him online. He hasn't even responded. And the thing that people are saying is like, dude, you beat up your girl in front of your kids. And he's like, no, I didn't. You know what I mean? Like, no, I didn't. And there's not a feeling that's more infuriating than being accused of something you didn't do and not feeling like you have a voice to defend yourself. If he's telling the truth, I'm not going to give him shit for if this is true, tell him the truth. Like, people have been saying he hit, or at least implying that maybe he did hit his wife, and they've all been saying that he did it in front of the kids based on the kid asking for the police to get called. So, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with this as far as I'm concerned. The next thing he said, that's really the only thing I want to clarify. Outside of that, looking forward to moving forward without alcohol. It's the first time in my life where I'm actually ready to quit. Glad to have the support of my fiance, family, friends, family. I'm going to call it the weasel on this one, actually, because one thing he said was he's like, well, how could Jon Jones, if he's that drunk, how would he even remember whether or not his kids saw? I'm like, I mean, that honestly, it says a lot about the weasel. The weasel clearly doesn't drink very much, because there is an enormous gap between I have begun to drink, I am now feeling kind of drunk, and I'm blacked out and don't remember anything. That is an enormous gap. I mean, huge. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, he certainly can be drunk enough to be behaving in a way that he wouldn't normally and still remember it. It's a weird thing because you remember it, and at the same time, you're like, oh my gosh, what the hell was I doing? But anyway, yeah, John wants to clarify that. That's good. And the thing about wanting to move forward without alcohol, and he says, it's the first time in my life where I'm actually ready to quit. You can't, like, no one is in a position to question that, you know? Like, that's the thing. Because here's the reality. What I say, irrelevant. What you know, anybody else says is totally irrelevant. It just doesn't matter. Because the only thing that's going to matter here is if he actually stops boozing. And if he says he's ready, and people should give him the benefit of the doubt. Unless he's made a big show of like, oh, I'm finally ready to quit, and then he didn't a bunch of other times, which I would be unaware of if he had, then give him the room to do it. Like, he says he's ready now. All right, good. Support the guy. Unless you're, you know, again, this is, I'm going back to the thing that I was talking about with this, like, it's like something like this happens and people are thinking about themselves, you know, like, especially if you have a public platform, you're thinking about yourself. It's like, you're not thinking about John. Why would you push an energy towards that of doubt? Like, let the guy, let him fucking take a run at it, you know? Because at this point, I mean, honestly, at this point, he said this shit to the world, man. Like, he said this to the world. So if he's ever out in public, someone offers him a drink, that's in the back. I mean, like, he can't get seen drinking now. So that part, I think John is one of those guys, very social, charismatic, easy to fall into. All right, we're just having a good time. But like, he's also very emotionally intelligent. He's got to know now, dude, those days are over, man. You can't be drinking out in public. So like, he doesn't strike me as a guy who's just going to like sit at home and just booze. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, give the guy the room to do this, you know? Let him do this. Let him do his thing. The next thing, the guy said, actions speak louder. He said, yep, I totally understand that. That's why I'm not going to do some big PR stint, hire a publicist. I'm not going to do anything like that. I know it's real. I know that I'm ready. Time will take care of the rest. That's a fucking excellent answer. I mean, that is an excellent answer. What else? And the only reason I'm talking like this is just because I've seen people being hard on him about these statements. I'm like, what else do you want him to say? Like, do you want him to go and like take a fucking time machine in 2 years and then bring back the 2 year sober version of John that's like, I did it, guys. You're all, wow, he really did do it. Right now, today, what else is he supposed to say? What, I mean, assuming that, God, this shirt is ridiculous. I'm looking at it in the Finder. It's like, this is a patently absurd shirt for me to be wearing during this video. It didn't even dawn on me until right now. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Give the guy the room to do it. Like, he's saying the right things. And like, one thing I don't like is when people just completely write people off, you know, where it's like, he's a bad guy. No, he's not. And neither is anybody else. People do bad things. That's not true. There are some bad people, but people can change. Like, they really can. Like, and if you're rooting for the guy, then don't be super quick to like jump down his throat and be like, yeah, right. Fuck you. And then he was responding to someone else, and he said, my life wasn't always great, man. Being molested as a child, losing a parent and a sibling to a disease at a young age, it goes on and on, man. I get things. I got things I need to deal with. Okay. I mean, I don't know anything about his childhood. I'm going to, this being an area that I have a tremendous amount of experience in, I'm just going to say this. This right here. You know what? I'm not going to speculate. If it were me that said this would be the kind of thing that I would have said. This would have been a lie. Okay. This would have, not a knowing lie, but this would have been bullshit. Okay. Like this would have been a bullshit thing that I was saying. Well, geez, my parents got divorced and that's what triggered all this and no. Your problem is that you are biologically wired to get addicted to shit, and whatever it does is not good for you. Like this whole fucking, there has to be some big backstory for why you have a drinking problem. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make you weak. Like just being like, yeah, man, I have the brain chemistry of a person that makes really fucking stupid decisions when I drink booze, but it's super fun, man. I fucking love drinking, man. It's so fun. It's a curse. I love drinking booze, but then I do dumb shit. It's my fucking brain, man. That's the honest answer. Like the honest answer is exactly that. Like as an example, my bugaboos have always been pills. Like I've told you guys a million times, like Norcos. I can't take them. I just can't take them. And I mean, to say that I loved how it felt to be on 2 Norcos would be the understatement of the century. It's like it takes the version of me, like I'm interesting to listen to. It's not that easy to be inside my head all the time, Like the reason I sound insightful is because I'm thinking 100% of the time. I surround everything, like it's not relaxing, dude, And I would eat 2 Norcos and literally you could sit me in a chair and go, hey, what do you want to do now? Hey, you want to play bingo with your 90-year-old grandma? Fuck yeah, I do. It sounds amazing. We're going to put on this movie right now. Does that sound good? I've literally never heard of anything that sounds better than that. Just shut your brain off and watch a movie. Oh, for sure. Give me someone that I can, give a massage to and we're great. Okay, I loved it. Problem is that my brain is wired to get addicted to that stuff, right? So I like it one day, that means I like it every day for the next fucking 6 months, and then it's like, oh shit, man, I'm taking a lot of these things. If I go cold turkey, I'm gonna go through withdrawal. I'm trapped. I'm an addict. Okay, that's why I can't take them. It's just there's no I was molested. There's no whatever, dude. Like, and I'm not minimizing losing a parent or losing a sibling. I'm saying your drinking problem has fucking nothing to do with that. It would be my guess. I'm not, that would be my guess. Anyway, he talked about, I had a heartbreaking conversation over the phone with one of my longtime coaches last night. Really hurts to lose the support of someone I respect so much. Sincere thank you to the rest of the coaches for staying in the fight with me. Our journey continues. Here's the thing. So one thing I heard people say was that he didn't thank Winkeljohn and he was thanking the other coaches. So here's my response there. You have no idea what that conversation between Winkeljohn and Jon Jones was. You have no idea. You have no idea what the tone of it was. Look, I watched Winkeljohn on Ariel's show, and I thought he sounded like a person who genuinely cares about Jon, wants to see the best for him, and is like, dude, you got to go get it together. I can't get inside of his head and know what his intentions are. But like, he didn't strike me as a guy who's looking to make a big public statement. Look at how fucking special I am for telling Jon to take a break from the gym. I didn't get a vibe like that at all. Like, so giving him the benefit of the doubt, I'm sure he has nothing but good intentions towards Jon. But on that phone call, you don't have any fucking idea what was said on that phone call. They've got serious history. And so if Jon was, let me just speculate. This is a total hypothesis. I have absolutely no idea. But if I'm putting myself in Jon's position right now, with the whole world, and we're going to come to this because we're going to talk about the ego thing in a second. When you got the whole world pounding you, you did something, there's no excuse for it. You know it. Everyone knows it. That's why he's not giving real excuses about, hurt, like his fiance getting hurt. The world is pounding you, right? And so that's why he feels, I can do this now. This can't happen anymore. This is different than getting arrested. Like, I'm ashamed of what I did. I'm ashamed. I can't defend myself. And in that scenario, you're going to retreat into what's most comfortable for you, your family, your super close friends. Okay, so one of your coaches at your gym, dude, that's serious, man. Like this, I'm serious. Like, just to put it in perspective, the year before we moved to Texas, I've talked about this before. We were at Cesar Gracie's gym every single day, 6 days a week. I was barely even training because Giselle was training 2 hours a day. And like, if I would have tacked my own training on, we would have literally never been home. But I was there every day, kicking the bag, bullshitting with all the coaches, bullshitting with all the fighters all day long. And like, when we moved to Texas, it fucking broke my heart. Like, I legitimately for the first month, like, would have just like reversed our entire thing of moving to Texas just because I missed all those fuckers so much. And like, if I was John Jones in that situation and I had been training at that gym with those guys for fucking 10, 15, whatever years, this would be like ripping my heart out, like just fucking ripping his heart out. And so the lack of him saying like, thanks Winklejohn, he gets a pass for that. You know, he gets a fucking pass for that, from me anyway. I think that these statements that he made were excellent, to be honest with you. The more, now reading them again, kind of sequentially, I think he did a really good job. So anyway, but now I want to talk about the ego thing, because I was thinking about this as I was reading these. I was thinking about this and I was relating it back to my own life. And, you know, like I was saying early in the video, your ego is your enemy, your fucking worst enemy. Your ego is the feeling that you get when you walk into a nightclub, right? You walk into a nightclub, the fucking bouncer is like, hey, Mr. On Fire, you guys bring all your crew. And you walk around a big group of people who are in line, right? You walk around them, they're all in line, they're waiting. They're like, hey, help us get in. You're wearing a fucking Rolex and a gold chain. You guys get to cruise in ahead of everybody. And the feeling that you get right there, if you have an ego, right? If you have an ego, the feeling that you get right there, it's right there. Like, it's just like right there. You're all, fuck yeah, dude. I'm special. And all these motherfuckers know it. It's like the desire to make people jealous. Like, if you have the desire to make people jealous and you're in the process of doing something that you know all of them wish that they could do, and that makes you feel good, that's your fucking ego right there. That's your ego. And if I was going to give anyone advice on how to recognize their ego versus confidence, that's exactly what I would tell them. So be cognizant of, if it makes you feel good knowing that people are envious of you, that's your fucking ego. You need to check that shit, because that is not healthy. It feels good, dude. It's a seductive bitch, you know, but that's not confidence. That's weakness. Like, people like that, I can spot them a million miles away, because I used to be them, and they look like pussies to me now. Like, they don't look, there's nothing about, like, that they look. I talked about this in the first John video, where I was saying, like, if I would have gotten famous and gotten rich when I was in my 20s, that ego would have become a core part of my personality, for sure. And this version of myself, I would have looked at that version of myself and been like, wow, this guy's fucking pathetic. Like, pathetic. And I don't mean it like in a way like an ego person would talk about someone, be like, the guy's got nothing going on, pathetic. Like, pathetic in a way where if you could see yourself through my eyes, you would be embarrassed. Like, you'd be fucking embarrassed. And that's what ego shit looks like to me now, you know? And like, it's one of those things where, I mean, I'll just fucking give it to you. The way that I was able to disassociate with it was I had my life destroyed. I mean, just plain and simple. I got put into a situation where no human being on earth could have an ego. Impossible. It's like, hey, you know, because that ego, right? Like, I'm beating people, like I'm better than them. There wasn't a fucking person on earth that I was beating. No one. I was losing to everyone, objectively. And I had to live in that for a good year, maybe a little bit more. Well, no, about a year. About a year where I really lived in it. And the good news is once that fucker's gone, it's not coming back, dude. It's just not. Now, it was an agonizing, painful process, but not because I was like, oh, I'm ridding myself of my ego. It was because I got stripped bare to the fucking bones. Like stripped to the bones. No options. No hope. Absolutely not a single fucking data point that I could hang on to and say, nope, see, I'm still special. Nope, you're not. You lost across the board. Every decision you've ever made is wrong. Every fucking story you ever told yourself about whatever, believe me, I went the way wrong direction. But when I built myself back, I was 1,000 times better version of myself. And that's the thing, dude. There is no reason that a confident person should feel good about skipping the line. I mean, you should feel good because you get to get into the club. I'm not saying be fucking Mother Teresa, but you shouldn't get even an ounce of satisfaction out of looking at other people waiting in line and knowing they wish they were you. Like, that's the most pussy ass shit there is, dude. It's fucking embarrassing is what it is. If you really think about it, if you get satisfaction out of other people feeling bad, it means you aren't shit and you know it. Or at the very least, you're plugging holes of insecurity with your fucking bullshit ego. It's the devil. And it makes people think, because it's like Connor punching that old man. Connor, enormous ego. I mean, again, like a different version of myself would say something like, well, deservedly so. No, ego is pussy, period. Okay? Now, I understand why, because when people are constantly telling you that you're special and it feels good, man. You eat that shit up. Like, it feels good because you can tell yourself you're better than everyone. But like Connor, he's in a bar, he's offering people booze, some fucking grimy old man who has nothing going for him in the world, right? You're Conor McGregor, dude. You're the biggest star in the world. Some fucking regular at the bar refuses your shot. I don't want to drink your shit whiskey. Who the fuck cares, dude? Like, seriously, who the fuck cares? Now, I am not so unself-aware to pretend that, like, if someone told me to go fuck myself, that I could just rise above it. I am an incredibly combative person. But Connor punched the old man, and then he bought the bar and banned the guy. Okay? Like, when I just learned that story very recently, when I heard that, I was like, whoa, dude. Like, that is a huge ego move. And it's something I might have thought was cool back in the day. Now, I think it's sorry. Why would you need to go through that for that fucking guy? Like, I talk on here all the time about unworthy adversaries. Like, if you spend your time fighting unworthy adversaries, you're a pussy. Like, that's pussy shit. Pit bulls won't fight small dogs, okay? If you've ever owned a pit bull, like I have, and you have like an actual confident, tough pit bull, and a fucking small dog comes up and starts biting their face, they won't fight them. They won't fight them. If you have like a mentally ill one, maybe, but like a good, solid, confident pit bull won't fight a small dog. They're not worthy adversaries. It's pussy to attack a fucking weak ass thing. It's pussy to buy that bar and ban the guy. It's fucking pussy. Why? You refuse your shot? So you're gonna make that fucking guy's life worse? His life is already fucking garbage. The guy would do anything to beat you for 5 seconds. You won, dude. You beat him. You beat him just by existing. You gotta fucking ban him from anyway. But so John, if this strips him of his ego, because a lot of this shit has to do with his ego, and like I've said a million times, if I had John Jones' life when I was 22 years old, I would have died. I might have actually died. Like, legit might have died. But I would have been so self-destructive. I would have fucking bought somebody talk shit to me, I'd have bought every bar just to ban him. I'd have tried to run for office to be the mayor of a city just so I could like do a fucking city ordinance around their house. Like, there would be no, I'm still guilty of that actually. But I'm going to at least tell myself that's not about my ego anymore. But, because I wouldn't do it unless they were just overtly in the wrong. Whatever. You get the point I'm making. So if John can use this moment to shed himself of his ego. That will be the best thing that happened to him. Anyway, I've been talking fucking way long enough. That's what I got. Peace.